So many running backs go between rounds 1 through 6, but picking the right ones in those rounds is the most difficult part. So if you are clicking to tune into this video, that's the advice that we're going to give y'all, is we are going to be breaking down the best running backs to take in rounds 1 through 6. And how this is going to work, all of us kind of have our own rounds that we are going to be talking about and breaking those down one by one. So the first round is going to be Big Nate. So Big Nate, go ahead and kick off round 1. Who is the best running back to be taking here?
So with a guy, my running back that I'm going with in the first round is a must-have. And for me, that's Austin Ekeler. A lot of people might say, oh, why are you going to him over CMC? Well, I'm going to tell you why. One of the reasons I'm a little biased because I have drafted Christian McCaffrey in the first round and get to week 2 or week 3, and he's been injured and out for the rest of the year. I've just been burned by it, and I don't like it. Austin Ekeler, his ADP is 4th, running back is 2nd, and his strength of schedule is 22nd. But one thing that we need to know is that he is one of the top players in all fantasy football. And with that being said, though, is that he's a dual threat guy who can run the ball well and also catch passes out of the backfield for the Los Angeles Chargers. And I think he might get even a little better this year because, like y'all both know, they brought in Kellen Moore, and he likes to use his playmakers and everything. It's a pass-happy offense, but they're also going to run the ball because they have a guy like Austin Ekeler. And I also like Ekeler because of the past 4 years, he has been 3 out of the past 4 years, 3 of those years, he's been a top 4 running back in fantasy football. And then last year, he had 107 catches. That's 5th amongst the NFL. So that includes running backs and wide receivers. But that's a crazy stat for me when I look at it, is that the fact that he was 5th overall in targets and receptions at 107 amongst the whole entire NFL. That's an incredible stat to have as a running back. He also ran for 915 yards, and he had 13 touchdowns. So this guy is a dual threat guy. Like I said before, he can run the ball in the backfield and catch passes out of the backfield. So this guy is a guy who's going to make a difference for your team. He's going to be the reason you win games every week. He's going to be the reason why you can make comebacks and put your team back in a potential winning your week. So this is a guy that I feel like you must have, especially in a pass-happy offense, especially when you bring up the fact that he had 107 catches and that was ranked 5th in the entire NFL. And then running for 915 yards. It's incredible the fact that he was able to do those things. And I fully expect him to have kind of sort of the same year just because of how good of a weapon he is. But I go Austin Ekeler first round must have. If you're in the top 4, top 5 in your draft, Austin Ekeler is the guy that you need to have for sure. He is a game changer and will help your team out and will give your team a playoff run. That's all I have on Austin Ekeler as my must-have in round number 1. So let's jump into round number 2 and see what running back that old Dalton Riley has for us here. I'm curious to see who he's got.
Yeah, Nathan, I'm definitely curious to see how many people actually take your advice, because that's actually some pretty good points you made, especially with Austin Ekeler. So over CMC. So I would be curious. I think this is a 50-50 split among most fantasy drafters there in the first round. So, guys, for me, my second round that I'm choosing for the best running back is someone actually surprising. When I looked at the ADPs, I didn't think he'd be there, but it's Nick Chubb. Guys, his ADP in PPR leagues is currently at 14. He's running back number 5, and so his strength of schedule is 24th, so it's not great. But with Nick Chubb's outstanding 2022 season he had last year, where he finished as RB6 in PPR with 16.6 points per game, pretty much cemented his status as a top-tier fantasy football running back. Projected to be drafted around the turn of the second round, it's surprising that there's 4 other running backs that are expected to outperform him in PPR leagues. Chubb's value lies in his consistency and his reliability, guys. I can't even remember the last time the man's been injured. It makes him an attractive option for fantasy managers in 2023, especially with Kareem Hunt no longer on the roster. He's poised to lead the Cleveland Browns backfield once again. And the only noteworthy competition is a 2021 fifth round pick Jerome Ford, who logged 8 total touches last season. So, guys, Chubb's career stats in 2018 demonstrate his consistency and reliability that I was talking about, where he was third in carries, second in rushing yards, third in rushing yards per game, second in rushing touchdowns, and eighth in total PPR points. So, guys, and to kind of top it off with the cherry on top, the Browns offensive line ranked 8th in team rushing block grade. So that just further bolsters the whole idea why I think that we need to go ahead and jump on this with Nick Chubb. And so I see him potentially being a low-end RB1, high-end RB2 once again for the 2023 season, and taking him there at the tail end of at the beginning of the second round, tail end of the first, get you a great wide receiver, and turn around and get you a great running back. He's going to be there. Look for him. So with that all being said, DJ, let's see who you have for us here in the third round.
Yeah, absolutely. So for the third round, I know that we've all kind of gone the picks in the beginning of the round with Austin Eckler and Nick Chubb here, who are at the beginning of each of their rounds. And honestly, I'm kind of sticking true with this narrative going into round 3. Okay, so if we look at the running backs drafted in round 3, it is Najee Harris, Ramondre Stevenson, Travis Etienne, Breece Hall, and Joe Mixon. Out of all of those running backs that I've mentioned, I feel the most confident in Ramondre Stevenson. I know that recently, this past week, that they have signed Ezekiel Elliott, but I don't think that Ezekiel Elliott takes too much away from Ramondre Stevenson. I think Ezekiel Elliott's probably at the back end of his career. Ramondre Stevenson is not. And they needed a solid RB2, a 1-2 punch, and why not grab Zeke if he's out there on the market? So now if we look at this round, the third round is a very crucial round to grab a running back. And if we look in a 12-team league, there are 5 running backs. So almost half of the picks in this third round are running backs. So it's very crucial to grab a running back here unless you went running back. So if you're maybe kind of in that 7 or 8 spot in the first round where you went maybe a Bijan Robinson or a Saquon Barkley, and then it comes back around to you and you say, hey, I want another running back, then obviously don't look to do that here. But anyways, I do like Ramondre Stevenson here. He currently is getting drafted as the 29th overall player, making him running back number 11. If we look at his strength of schedule, he currently has the hardest strength of schedule of any running back within the third round, which is the 6th hardest. However, that AFC East that he was in last year was also very difficult. And he also last season averaged 14.6 points per game in PPR. And if we look at how that fared, that was 10th out of 83 possible running backs who played in 10 plus games last season. So he knows how to get it done within that division. And not to mention, he took over in week 5. So the first 4 weeks of the season, he didn't see a ton of playing time. He took over in week 5. And since then, if we look at only how he fared from week 5 all the way through week 17, he would have finished the season as running back 6, and you're currently getting him at a discounted price at running back 11. And I think that that's mostly due because of how powerful of a runner he is. If we look at how his rush yards after contact per attempt was, 3.8. He had 3.8 yards per attempt, or after contact per attempt, which was 2nd in the NFL last year. So he's a hard-nosed runner, but not only that, he had high red zone usage, but then also has a high receiving value as well. So if we look at his red zone usage, he accounted for nearly 50% of the red zone rushes last year. It was just shy of that. It was roughly 48%. So he accounted for 50% of the red zone rushes last season and converted roughly 10% of those into touchdowns. So he sees a lot of the red zone opportunities and snaps and everything. So look for that usage to go up. And again, that is only based from week 5 on. So he is due for progression, not regression. So the season that he had last year, it's only to do better this year. But let's look at his receiving value. If we look at how he did receiving last year, he had a 17.3% target share, which was 4th among running backs. But then he also was 3rd in targets last year with 82. That is insane. He also averaged 18.3 yards routes run per game last year. and that accounted for 5.1 targets. If we look at his routes run, he had five targets a game last year, which was also third for running backs, and that's mainly due to his quarterback, who was Mac Jones last year. Who, if we look at how he fared in the last 2 seasons, 10th highest rate in doing check down routes last season. Also 8th highest in the season before. So expect Rhamondre Stevenson to not only get the ball a lot on the ground, but also a lot through the air. I think that this is your safest option going in the 3rd round. So even if you're considering reaching in the 2nd, I think that Rhamondre Stevenson is a very safe bet to go at the back end of the 2nd or at the beginning of the 3rd. Take a little bit of a reach on him because I don't think there's any way he finishes as running back 11. He should definitely be within the top 10 this season. But anyways, I will go ahead. That's all I've got for round 3. We'll kick it back to Nathan for round 4.
Yeah, so getting into my second running back here in round 4, I'm gonna go with a rookie running back here. I'm gonna go with Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm going to go Jahmyr Gibbs because I feel like this guy could have a big year for a rookie. Not as big as I think Bijan's going to do, but Dan Campbell and the Lions organization need to prove on why they traded back, passed on Bijan to get Jahmyr Gibbs. And I'm not saying that Jahmyr Gibbs is not a great football player, or else he wouldn't have been drafted in the 1st round. He is a good football player. We saw what he was able to do at Alabama last year. He was able to run the ball extremely well for Alabama, and not only run the ball well, but he was also able to catch passes out of the backfield for Alabama, and he did that very, very well for the Crimson Tide last year. So I could see him kind of doing the same thing for the Lions this year. Look for him to have a lot of looks and opportunities this year. One of the things that catches my eye with Gibbs and why I like him in the fourth round here is because his ADP is 37th, running back ranked 15th. He has the easiest schedule. So you're getting a rookie running back who we know that can play football extremely well. The easiest schedule in the NFL, his first year in. Then, on top of that, you have to give him his opportunity and a lot of looks to show your fan base and everybody else in your organization on why you went with him. So I really believe that he could have a great year. I think he'll be a lot more of the into the passing game. I feel like he'll be a lot of the passing game with Jared Goff, and I could see the Lions being kind of a pass happy offense. Just because they're going to be great. They get the wide receivers to do it. They, like Dalton had mentioned in the past, they have a tight end that they drafted. So I like this here in the 4th round. And that's because of the potential that Gibbs has and the fact that he's going to have the easiest schedule amongst running backs in the NFL. And so really, just, once you get past certain rounds where people are like, well, these running backs go here and these go here and these go here. This is a pick that I'm going strictly on potential and the fact that he has the easiest schedule, and I saw what he was able to do at Alabama. I like him here in round 4. And I'm excited to see what he does with the Lions. But enough of that being said, that's all I got for Jahmyr Gibbs in round 4. Let's jump over to round 5. I like the guy that Dalton has here next in round 5. I'm really high on this guy, and I'm excited to see what Dalton has to say about him.
Yeah, Nathan, dude, I'm so glad you like my guy because I loved your guy. Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs. Guys, if you go back and listen to my bold prediction of the year, it was all about the Lions. And I think a big part of that was Jahmyr Gibbs, and I'm so excited for that team, man.
I had to show some love. I give Dalton a hard time for being an Alabama fan here, so I thought he'd be impressed that I went with an Alabama running back.
Hey, I'm glad it comes back around because I got your Bijan jersey, man. I'm glad the love comes back around. So I've been waiting for this long time coming.
But before we move on to the next pick, if y'all are interested in supporting one of the top growing fantasy football shows on YouTube, go to our website at boysonthebench.com and you can buy any of our apparel there. We have long sleeve, short sleeve, and hats for you to represent the Boys on the Bench crew. Anyways, let's jump back into the show and see the next pick.
But anyway, with no further ado, guys, my round 5 running back that you need to target, and I'm sure many of you are already aware of it, so it may be no news to you, but if you don't know, it's Alexander Mattison with the Minnesota Vikings. Guys, he's currently projected with an ADP of 66th overall and has the 23rd running back. Guys, he's poised for an opportunity to lead the Minnesota Vikings backfield in 2023 after Dalvin Cook just departed. Guys, he's gone. There's no one else there in that backfield hardly, guys. They're all rookies. Most of them are young cats. Like, it is his to lose, guys. So despite limited opportunities in the past, he has performed well, and he's well acquired with the Vikings offense after 4 seasons. So, guys, he's coming into an offense that he already knows. It's not like Mike Davis coming into the Atlanta Falcons. It's not like walking into a brand new facility, guys, with new coaches. He knows this team. And so, guys, he knows the playbook in and out. So, also, guys, with a strong offense and the 3rd easiest schedule for running backs, guys, Mattison could have an ample scoring chances now with Dalvin Cook in the rearview mirror. In fact, here are some stats that I ran across in his that Dalvin Cook had in his 6 seasons that he averaged. Guys, he had 19.5 carries. He averaged almost 80 rushing yards, 4.5 targets, 36 receiving yards, almost a touchdown a game, and nearly 20 PPR points per game as well. Guys, these averages would have placed Alexander Mattison, if he gets this, guys, in 2023, this type of production, that's going to put him in RB3 category. Like, as running back number 3, not just RB3, running back number 3 in the league. Guys, that's ahead of Josh Jacobs, the guys that we're in love with this past year. This year, not so much, but guys, that is an awesome amount of opportunity for a 5th round guy that we're talking about right now. So, like I said, I like this because Mattison has performed extraordinarily well in the absences of injured Dalvin Cook, and now with the backfield practically to himself, guys, he's going to be a sneaky top 10 fantasy running back. So, best case scenario, this is what I think. I can see Mattison picking up where Cook left off and finishing within the top 10. That's what I think. The Vikings are a pass-first offense, but they also do a great job of mixing in the run there too, as we've seen. Besides, guys, also, Mattison has showcased his ability to catch as well. So, guys, he could easily be RB1, wide receiver 3 for this team. So, I'm expecting him to fall. Guys, like I said, if he's going to be running back 3 in the league and have that potential, guys, I'm projecting his floor to be at least 10 PPR points. But, guys, he could get anywhere between 15 and 18 PPR points per game, which sounds high. But, the opportunities can afford it. He's a hidden treasure waiting to be exploited. So, guys, while the Vikings have depth at running back, although most of them are rookies, guys, I would not reach for this guy just because he can have that potential where he could be a bust. But, guys, I feel like the boom far outweighs it. So if he's there, guys, early 5th round, guys, near the tail end of the 4th, and you're not really in love with anyone else, guys, I like it. I like it a lot. So, guys, that is it for me with the 5th round running back. Please consider it. I'm telling you, don't regret it. So, DJ, go ahead. Who do you have for your 6th round pick?
So for the 6th round, this one was pretty difficult because over half of the picks in this round, if you're looking at a 12-man league, are running backs. There are 7 running backs that are being drafted within the 12th round. And if you look at who those are, it is Cam Akers, James Conner, Rachaad White, Dalvin Cook, the newly acquired running back to the Jets, DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, and Isaiah Pacheco. Now, the running back that I'm going with here, and the one that I feel pretty confident about and one of the most confident about, is honestly Isaiah Pacheco. He is the last running back drafted within this round, but I actually love him a lot. If we look at his ADP, he is currently the 70th overall running back that is being taken, making him running back number 28. Now, if we look at his strength of schedule, he does play in the AFC West with the Broncos, Raiders, and the Chargers. That's the 8th easiest strength of schedule in all of the NFL. So if we look at maybe what the worst case scenario is for him this upcoming season, he's going to probably, worst case scenario, assume a similar role to what he had last year, where we see him where he's going to be splitting reps with Jerick McKinnon and then also Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And if we look at last season, he just finished just shy of 1,000 yards rushing at 830, but then also had 5 touchdowns to tack on top of that. So at running back number 28, he's likely to outperform that because last year he finished well above that. I think he was 21, not well above it, but running back number 21. So just above that. And so people are saying that he's going to actually regress this year, where I don't necessarily see that that's going to be the case. Because if he actually ends up holding that running back 1 title for the Kansas City Chiefs the entire season, he should have no problem finishing as a running back 2 on your team, which is a low end running back 2. But you're currently getting him as a low end running back 3 or a high end running back 3, right? At number 28. Okay. But what I love most about Isaiah Pacheco here is that he is going to have a ton of volume in this Kansas City Chiefs offense, meaning that he's likely to score a lot for your fantasy team. So last year, again, he didn't really see a lot of playing time until probably halfway through the season. We saw that last year they kind of rode with the former first-round pick and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, but then they were like, he's kind of not fitting the mold that we had here at Kansas City. So then they started to do a little bit of split reps, kind of a 3-headed running back by committee with Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jerick McKinnon, and then also Isaiah Pacheco. And then, as I mentioned before, Isaiah Pacheco just shy of 1,000 yards on 170 carries for 5 touchdowns. Now, if we look at how he fared from weeks 10 through 17, again, over halfway through the season, he was running back 21 in terms of points per game scored in PPR. He was also running back 6 in rushing yards. So the last time that we saw a running back that had a similar season to this was actually Kareem Hunt back in 2017. And if we go back and look at when Kareem Hunt was running back 1 for the Kansas City Chiefs, he finished 3rd in all of fantasy football. So I know that this is a very pass-heavy offense, but Isaiah Pacheco is someone that can put up, and I'm not saying that he's able to put up top 5 numbers. I think he's able to, but is he going to? It's highly unlikely. But I do think that he has that slim possibility where you're getting him at running back number 28, and he has that slim possibility where he can jump in to top 10, maybe top 15 running back numbers, and you're getting him within the 6th round. And I know that everyone's kind of reservations about him is the running backs ahead of him. How many split reps are we looking at? And that's the risk that you take. And I think getting him within a 6th, again, in a 6th round value, it's good. So I really like him. Also look for Kansas City to be in the red zone a lot, meaning that he is likely to be in the end zone a ton this season. And even if he doesn't see the end zone, he's going to have a ton of opportunities. So that's only an added bonus. So I absolutely love Isaiah Pacheco's value here. Anyways, thank y'all so much for listening to this episode. These are the running backs that we are saying that you should take in every single round, rounds 1 through 6. So please let us know what you think on this, whether you agree or disagree. We would always love to know. Now, the last thing that I will mention here is something that we are kind of new to and trying to promote, but the 3 of us, we love sports betting. So we have created this group for degenerate sports bettors where we're not the best. We just love throwing bets out there. And I think that that's what makes it great about a betting community is that none of us are proclaimed experts. We're all kind of sharing.
Know when to hold 'em. Know when to fold 'em. And we don't know how to do either one. We just lose our money.
And that's about right. And I think that a lot of you listening hopefully have a similar experience. And we need y'all to normalize us on this. But that's the purpose of this betting group, is just to get all of us together and kind of share this experience and make us feel a little bit better about losing most of our bets. So anyways, if that feels like y'all need to join that, please do it. It's an unhealthy choice, but again, it's the right choice. So anyways, thank y'all so much, and we will see y'all next episode.
Deuces.